Order. Welcome to our City Council meeting, Tuesday, November 3rd. If you'd please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Matt, would you start us with a roll call?
Councilor West, Savage,
Here.
Halter, Zadi,
Here.
Green, Demas,
Here.
Tate,
Here.
Shalata,
Here.
Mayor Como.
Here, and I believe we'll have a couple other councilors. The lines were so long, I think we have two city councilmen who are still waiting in line to vote. So we might see them here shortly. And I'd also like to wish everybody running for an elected position good luck tonight. I respect your passion and willingness to serve our community. Lord knows you don't do it for the money, and the abuse is enjoyable. To that certain extent, councilors, I would entertain a motion to approve the special city council meeting minutes of October 19th, 2020, and the city council meeting minutes of October 20th, 2020.
Your Honor,
Councilman Shalata,
I move to approve those minutes.
we do have a motion to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? It's going to bring us on to the appointments section of our agenda. Mr. President, members of the council, I submit the name of Mark Lyon to serve Sweetwater County Travel and Tourism Board, second term.
Council, you have before you the name Mark Lyon to serve as Sweetwater County Travel and Tourism Board, second term. Can I get a motion?
Mr. President, I move for Mark Lyon to serve on the Sweetwater County Travel and Tourism Board for the second term.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilor Savage,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Demas,
Yes.
Tate,
Yes.
Shalata.
Yes.
Mayor, you have your appointment.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. And Mr. President, members of the council, I submit to you the name of Katie Glendemeyer Mullen to serve Rock Springs Historical Museum Board, filling an unexpired term.
Council, you have before you the name Katie Glenmeyer Mullen to serve an unexpired term on the Rock Springs Historical Museum Board. Can I get a motion?
Mr. President,
Councilor,
move to approve Katie Mullen for the Rock Springs Historical Museum Board.
can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilor Zadi,
Yes.
Demas,
Yes.
Tate,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Savage.
Yes.
Mayor, you have your appointment.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. Councilor Zardi, would you like to wait for
yeah.
now?
Thank you. I wanted to take a minute to, at the beginning of the meeting, to congratulate the Rock Springs Lady Tigers in their regional title victory this weekend over in Natrona County. I think it's the first time they've done that in 10 years. Standings were just released today, and they are going into state in Casper this weekend, second place in the state. So it's a lot of hard work and dedication for both the coaches and the players, and I just think we all owe them maybe a round of applause and a good job, because I know they put in a lot of work.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Go Tigers. Football had a good year too. They're going to have an even better year next year, and Tigers are on a roll. Keep it up. We're proud of what you do. It's going to bring us to the presentations and proclamations section of our agenda. And we're honored here tonight to have Eva Wasim here, the radiation and oncology nurse, to tell us who the contest winner of Paint the Town Pink. Eva? Do you want a drum roll?
Oh, we are honored to be here as well. Thank you very much. So I wanted to share with you some of the pictures from from our Paint the Town Pink campaign throughout October. We are just in awe over the participation and how great all the businesses were to help support us in this campaign. And so we appreciate it, and our patients appreciate it, and the community should also appreciate it, because I feel like awareness is really the key to having more survivors over time. Tonight I have with me two of the staff of the hospital and the cancer center. Dawn Paella is a nurse in medical oncology, and so she delivers chemotherapy to our patients and other infusions that they need with Dr. Symington. And Lena Lauren of the new community relations.
We don't know, Lena.
No, Lena.
Lena's had lots of different hats, but we are honored to have her at the hospital now. She's going to be doing some of our events like this and help us take this on into the community next year too. So we're glad to have her. And we had some other folks that were planning to be here tonight, but also got, I think, delayed by voting tonight. So that's a good thing too. But I have some pictures to share with you. The city was just beautiful with the lights that were donated by Rocky Mountain Power. Wyoming Breast Cancer Initiative also donates some money to this for us to do this event. And so I think it beautifies downtown Rock Springs, and it brings people down here, and people just like to be there. And so what better place to raise awareness than downtown? So we appreciate you letting us do that. And it looked pretty. And all the ribbons you can see too is very heartwarming. Lots of businesses participated. Some of them even did not enter into the contest this year. They, Sidekicks was one of them. They did participate in our Hindsight 2020 game that we did at the beginning of the month, but they didn't even register in the contest, which I think is admirable, but I love that everybody decorates. And look at the effort that's just put into these windows. It's amazing. Rock Springs Chamber of Commerce, the Power Trust Service Center, they even chalked some of their white bricks. It's just beautiful. And then Feller Orthodontics decorated their lobby area in a lot of pink. Amber Kramer State Farm Agency, Western Wyoming Family Planning decorated their lobby area. Sweetwater Now, oops, do I need to? Western Community College even arranged all of their merchandise so that they could show. One of our missions for the Hindsight 2020 scavenger hunt was to take the letters to encourage businesses to decorate to the business of their choice. And so one of those was Aaron's Semi Repair, which just tickled me. I think that's great that he was willing to do that. Some of our businesses actually had their own deals and specials that they did throughout the month. And so Coltrane Coffee was one of those. They had special drinks that were dedicated to breast cancer awareness. Murdoch's, our winner from last year, did a great job again this year, and Sweetwater Chiropractics decorated their windows too. And then the winner this year, this is the second time they're our winner, is Buy Right Pharmacy and Remedies. They did a fantastic job this year, and it was beautiful, and it was appreciated by voters online. And so they are, again, our winner this year. They were our winner the inaugural year of this campaign, too. So congratulations.
Right on.
I have one more slide. I'm sorry. I should have just made that the end. But these are some of the businesses that participated also and didn't register for the campaign. But they did such an amazing job that I thought I should share that they also were involved in this. So thank you to them too. Aspen Mountain decorated, and they wore pink on Wednesdays throughout the month. Whistler Chevrolet, WYO Radio. When I drove by there at the beginning of the month, I saw their decorations, and it was just amazing. But we just want to say thank you for your ongoing support, and thank you to all the businesses for decorating, bringing awareness to the women in our community, and helping us honor our patients and visitors. So thank you.
Well, I think you guys do a great job, and I think everybody's a winner by having you put in the effort that you do. And congratulations, Buy Right, and everybody that participated. We look to be there for you again next year, and you're going to present the winner trophy, correct?
With your help, please. I would
Right
love
on.
to.
Let's do it.
It's a nice picture.
Yeah, well, I wanted to say, I wanted to say something too. Every year I get really excited
Okay.
for this.
And take a breath and go to that microphone, because everybody at home wants to hear what you have to say. Any other comments? Go say what you're going to say.
Sorry.
Everybody at home, it's a blank, if there's just this vacancy, no one's talking. and a
Well, I
phone's
wasn't
going
gonna
on
say
the back.
anything, but,
So the microphone is yours, go ahead.
okay, every year I get really excited when, Kelly and Eve and Dawn said that we were gonna paint the town pink. I was very touched because I am a breast cancer survivor. And, so it means a lot to me. And so I try, I'm gonna cry now, see? But, you know, if we can save just one life from painting our windows pink or letting the women or men know to go and get checked, we have done our job. And I really appreciate the cancer place doing all this and making it aware for it. It's not about the award or anything, even though it's great that we won again. Because it's just fun, you know. The guys, I love having Mark and John just let us do the windows. So it's fun, and that's all I wanted to say is thanks.
All right, we gotta have the winner hold that trophy.
There you go. Congratulations.
We have one more, that wishes to say a few words.
I just want to make a comment on one of those first pictures, if you guys have gone over the overpass, all the ribbons on there. That was done, we enjoy doing the breast cancer, but as a cancer center, we really wanted to let everybody know that we know that there's other types of cancers out there. So every colored ribbon that is up there represents a different cancer. So, are they still up there? Okay. So if you haven't driven over the,
We took them down. I'm sorry.
They
I'm
took
sure
it
most
down,
of you
but
have
boy, there
seen
were a
them.
lot of
There were a
ribbons.
ton of, we treat lots of cancer, so that was to represent that there is all kinds of cancer in our community, and that we,
And a lot of those cancers are preventable, and they're
Exactly.
detected early as well, and the chances of treating them are better if you can detect them early.
Absolutely.
Lung cancer, it's November, and it's actually Lung Cancer Awareness Month this month, and that is one of them. There is a low-dose lung CT that you can get if you were a smoker, or if you are a smoker, to find cancer lesions that might be there early. And lung cancer is one of the hardest cancers that we treat. I mean,
it is.
and so if you can catch that early, then your chances are way better of surviving it.
Yep.
And if you catch it late, it's way worse. So we want you to catch that early.
We want
so that-
preventative,
Yeah.
colonoscopies, mammograms, this
Pap
low-dose
smears.
CT,
Yep.
body scans for melanoma, all kinds of good stuff,
We're very
bad stuff
passionate
out
about
there.
prevention,
Well,
so-
and I think it helps also with the information that you guys put out to the public and getting the community involved. I think it helps those individuals understand the importance of going and getting tested early, and where to find information, and to hopefully catch those
Yes.
situations
Cancer caught
before they.
early is treatable and very curable. So,
We see that every day.
yes, that's our
So
spiel.
thank you.
Hey, thank you. You guys did a great job. We'll see you next year. Okay, congratulations to Byrite, and again, everybody else for participating. That was fantastic. Next, under our presentations, we have Mr. Devin Brubaker, our Southwest Regional Airport Director, and he is going to be in here to answer any questions on our upcoming resolution 2021-62. Before we get there at that time, does any of the council have any questions? Mr. Brubaker is here. The time is yours. Councilors, any questions?
Mayor, councilors, looks like I got a couple stares at me, so just want to make sure you guys know what I'm here for. Is, as the mayor said, is for the resolution of support for the Wyoming Business Council grant application, as well as the budget amendment that is before you tonight for the $425,000. I've been able to speak with some of you via phone, not all of you, but if there's any questions, comments, concerns, I'm happy to answer them. I think I'm fairly well prepared after some of the phone calls I've had, and looking forward to what you guys would like to hear from me.
I guess, if I could, Your Honor.
Mr. President, go
Just
ahead.
good if you could just go through and explain what are we doing here? Why is there an additional amount in budget amendment required?
Okay.
And where are we in the whole process of determining?
Absolutely. So, Mayor and councilors, where we're at in the process is we're about 50% design. We'll actually hit the 50% design milestone tomorrow. We have our entire design team arriving tonight, and we'll be in all-day meetings tomorrow with our design team. The urgency behind this request and why we're here today is we have a $1.6 million design cost on the $18.5 million project. That's included in the $18.5 million. The $18.5 million is largely funded from federal funds. Currently, that is right around $12.62 million that we have coming in for federal dollars. We have an application that we hope to be submitting on the 16th of November for the December 1st deadline for $3 million from the Business Council. YDOT currently is about $1.53 million, and then the local is right around $1.35 million. You'll notice that the split that we have requested from the county and the city is based on 1.275, and that's because the airport has about $75,000 in dedicated reserve funds that have to be used on this project per FAA regulations. So we have some money that we're able to put towards the project. The local contribution at that 1.275 makes up a very small percentage of the overall $18.5 million project. In terms of timeline, the reason we're in such a hurry on design is the FAA has told us that the grants will be available in May. So we have to have a guaranteed maximum price from our construction manager at risk by the middle of May. So we've had to hit the ground running with design. With the $1.6 million design costs, the money is not available from the FAA until we have that GMP, but we have to be able to pay our design team until those grants come in, and then we can get reimbursed for the eligible portion. So the urgency's there in terms of the team's already working, and we're just trying to get the money in place where we can keep them paid over the next couple months until the grants are available to be drawn upon in May.
So if I'm correct, this isn't an unanticipated additional expense. It was an expense that was anticipated. We just need the funding a little earlier than we thought. And once the project, that design's complete and the funding's released, some of this money will be reimbursed?
So, Mayor, councilors, this money was not new money. This has all been part of our conversations over the last couple years, honestly, and it's a much smaller amount than where we were. If you remember back to the 6 penny discussion, we were around 3.3 million of local money, and we've worked our tails off to find every penny possible. And I think I told the mayor and Matt, I've run out of magic. I don't have anywhere else to find money. I've looked under every seat cushion, and there's no more to be had at this point. So we've done everything we can to get this as low as possible. And so it's not new money, it's just earlier than we expected because the FAA's deadlines to be able to get the discretionary grants issued in May. As you all are aware, we applied for years ago for this project with your support when you guys helped pay for this, the conceptual design phase in the terminal area plan. Once we got that done and we were in that eligibility line for the funding, they awarded us $4.9 million back in April. And then in August, they informed us that the rest, the $7.6 million or so, would be coming in May, and that it was either be ready then or it's not there anymore kind of situation.
Thank you. I just wanted to make clear, because I think with the public, if they see something like this and we're doing a budget amendment, it's like automatically, oh, great, we're spending more money than we thought. Whereas, you know,
And yeah,
and
this
so-
is all part of the initial plan. And in terms of your second question, Counselor, this money won't get necessarily reimbursed because the total match on the whole project, the local match, this would, if this budget amendment's approved, covers the city's entire local match. So while we may get some of that design cost reimbursed on the front end, it would get reinvested back in the project as part of the
Gotcha.
local match.
Thank you.
Any other questions, counselors? Okay, thanks, Devin. I'm just gonna let you continue on with the next item on the agenda.
All right, I should wear hats so I can turn them around. So I just want to give a quick update while I was here on the recycling center. Some pretty exciting things happening down at the recycling center. If you guys recall, last year, 1.56 million pounds of recycling came through the doors and out our doors down at the recycling center. As of the end of October, we have already surpassed 2019's numbers, and we're sitting at 1.58 million pounds of recycling with 2 months to go, and they're our two busiest months, so we're pretty excited for that. We are still running with the same amount of employees that we were before, 7 total employees. That equals out to 4.5 to 5 FTEs, depending on the week. So that's pretty exciting that we've been able to handle the extra work without adding labor expenses. On top of that, we are in the process of applying for a $575,000 grant from the Recycling Partnership. It is a grant to improve the recycling of polypropylene products, which would be your, some of your plastics that are harder to recycle. The unique aspect of this grant is much like the CARES Act situation we're all dealing with and trying to find unique ways to capture that revenue or that money, that grant money, is they allow for equipment that allows for sortation. So what we're looking at is something called a Revolution Systems. They have one installed in Ogden and Steamboat, and myself and Matt Dillon went down to Steamboat Springs, about 2 months ago to check out their operation. And it's a sortation system that allows for curbside single stream recycling. And if we can get this machine, it's about $500,000. And if we can introduce curbside recycling, we open up another $75,000 of eligibility with the grant for marketing purposes. It would allow us to work with the city, the private waste haulers, the city of Green River, and all municipalities in southwest Wyoming and maybe even northern Colorado and Utah, where we could process all of their recycling through our facility. The beautiful thing about this is, once again, it doesn't require much more labor than what we have today. It would require a different kind of labor where we wouldn't necessarily be having pickups anymore, because we would work with private waste haulers to do the pickups. We would move that labor inside and focus on the sortation and processing of recycling. It's our expectation if we get the grant, we'll be able to go from approximately 1.7 million pounds of recycling a year to between 4.5 and 5 million pounds a year. So we're pretty excited for that expansion. I'll be in touch with the mayor. I already gave him a heads up here later this week about working on maybe a letter of support for that grant. And then Michelle Foote, who's on our board and is also the manager for Wyoming Waste, and I will be hopefully working with you all to look at city ordinances and your franchise agreements with the waste haulers to see if there's any ways that we can make curbside recycling successful and not make it a situation where it's just a few households that sign up. So we want to work with you guys to find a way to make it successful. Getting this equipment doesn't do us any good unless we can load up that curbside recycling and offer single stream, which I think you've all heard from your constituents and our residents. It's what they want. It's just how do we make it happen and make it happen in an affordable manner. So and with that, what we're hoping to transition is we're trying to get out of the transportation business completely. We want to get into the processing business and brokerage business 100%, where we don't have to worry about the trucks. We don't have to worry about our 1991 rear load trash truck that we can't keep on the road. And we can focus on what we do inside the building and maximizing the returns on the product that we're able to sell in the markets. And on the market situation over the summer, one of the silver linings of COVID is the recycling markets were fantastic over the summer. The international market was eating up all of our recycling. Even China decided to set aside their national sword program. They call it the national sword, where they cut off all of the imports of recycling, and they got rid of that temporarily over the summer, and they basically allowed all the imports they could get. And so we were making decent money over the summer. The markets have started to turn here because China shut down most of the imports, which means all that stuff is staying domestic and saturating the market. The silver lining, once again, though, is we are one of 6 recycling centers in the country, per our brokers, that can still ship international because our product is clean. We hand sort every piece of recycling that comes into the building. There is no contaminants in our recycling, and so they can still export that, the brokers can. So it's pretty exciting to know that here in Rock Springs we found a way to perfect what China needs and export that to China and be able to take advantage of what market is there. And we'll take advantage of it as long as we can, and we do have connections to be able to switch over to domestic if we need to, but the money's in the international markets right now. So that's really all I had for you. I just want to give you a brief update on it, let you know we're working hard to find new expansion opportunities, new service offerings, and we look forward to working with you all to expand the service offering here in Rock Springs.
I think that's exciting news, not just for Rock Springs, but our surrounding communities, the county as well. And I hope it does pan out. And let me know when you're ready, and we'll sit down and talk about that and bring it before the council and see if we can assist.
Yeah, sounds great.
Great job, Devin. Councilman Zadi?
In dealing with, talking about expanding and more tonnage and everything else, we have a small facility that you seem to be crammed in all the time. What's the plan as you grow then to accommodate this extra tonnage?
So, Mayor, councilors, our facility is our biggest challenge at this point, 100% our biggest challenge. This equipment that we're trying to procure barely fits in the building, and it's going to require us to do probably a temporary fabric type extension like you see where salt and sand storage is, because our building's not tall enough to unload trash trucks into, the recycling trucks, because they're all front load, which means they have to tip backwards to dump like a dump truck. And if we dump those outside in the wind, we're gonna have a really, really bad mess. So we're looking at using some of this grant funding to do a temporary, not even an addition, because we wouldn't want to attach it to the building. It would just be a temporary covering, basically, to allow a spot to dump those trucks, and then we can push it into the building onto the conveyor system and do what it needs to do. Long term, we have had very preliminary discussions with the solid waste district. In a few years, they're going to have to move south, I believe it is, in terms of move their entire operation, the scale house, their maintenance shops and everything, to a whole new area out there, because they're running out of the land that they're working on now. When they do that, it's our hope that there will be a recycling center built out at the landfill that we would be able to operate for the solid waste district and have a co-located situation out there with strategically placed drop boxes and such around town to allow residents to still do what they need to do.
And you know, we've had that discussion, and it was preliminary, but it just makes perfect sense. And in a time when we're constantly seeing revenue reductions and budget constraints, it makes much more sense for us to pool our resources together, combine our services, and I think grow our district to incorporate Eden, Forest, Green River, Walm, Sutter, Granger, the whole 9 yards, and the location at the landfill seems the logical place.
Yeah, and I think, Mayor, that conversation came up 2 weeks ago at the commission meeting. There was a resident from Green River that wrote to the commission during public comment about expanding the solid waste district, and I think if there's people out there that feel that way, they do need to voice that to the solid waste district and to the county commission,
Right.
Through the public comment periods that they have at their meetings, because they're not going to make those changes or those decisions unless people voice the interest in doing so. And I think it's important that if you want to see that change, it would put Green River in a position where they'd have rates and charges similar to what you see in Rock Springs. And it would eliminate a lot of confusion, I think, for the different communities on how it's handled differently,
Right,
just 10, 12 miles apart from each other.
exactly.
Your Honor, if I could, another quick
Please.
comment. It sounds like cooperation and communications improving amongst the entities involved then?
So I would say, Mayor and Councilors, that the communication is very good between us and the Board of Directors for the Solid Waste District. It is very good. No complaints whatsoever.
Much, much better. Some hard work, a lot of conversations, but much, much better at this point. Any other questions, councilors?
I'd just like to shout out and thank the people at the recycling center. They're doing a fantastic job. I don't know how they clean that up every weekend. It looks like, well, they'll never get it cleaned up, and by Friday, it's clean and assorted, and they're polite and just hard workers down there.
I appreciate that. We'll pass that on. And
Please.
to that point about how messy it is outside, I know it's one big complaint we get all the time. We have new bins on order for the outside that have lids on them, and we'll have new signage out there. We're hoping to have all that in place in time for the busy holiday season. And we do have plans because of the timing of Christmas being on a Friday. We will be working all weekend that weekend to at least get the material inside the building. If you've seen it after Christmas on a normal weekday, it's insane down there, and with it happening on a weekend when we're not there normally to work, it's going to be a challenge, but myself, the manager, Matt Dillon, and a couple other employees have agreed to come in and at least push the product inside and get it out of the elements and keep it from blowing around all over A Street and Elk Street.
And just to remind everybody, our recycling center is not a trash
Thank you.
drop. It is not. I have been down there. I've seen garbage bags full of garbage, and I saw a dresser drawer sitting down there one day. This is a recycling center, and they would really like to make sure that you bring clean recycled items down there, that they don't have to sit and pick through that. As Devin said, they have to pick through that to make sure that that's clean. So make sure your paper, your styrofoam, everything's separated, and each item goes into the bin it's supposed to go in.
And that's more important now going into the holidays. All of the boxes that we see, when they have styrofoam in them, packing peanuts, any other recycling inside the boxes, we have to hand sort that, and it just takes way more time.
Right.
And the other piece of advice, just because you paint a number 2 on a product doesn't make it a number 2 plastic recyclable. We've seen people doing that, just painting a number 2 on an item, thinking that that would make it recyclable, and that doesn't work.
Takes more time to think it too.
It's amazing. Well, you guys do a good job. Matter of fact, last time I was down there, Mr. Dillon, Matt came out, and before I got out of the truck, he unloaded my truck before I even got there. So they
Good to
do a
hear.
good job. I appreciate what
Excellent.
you do, and hopefully this pans out. It's exciting news.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Devin.
Thank you.
Okay, this is going to bring us to our proclamation section, where we have 2 proclamations today. The first being Small Business Saturday, November 28th, 2020, and our proclamation reads, whereas the City of Rock Springs celebrates our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy and community, according to the United States Small Business Administration, there are 31.7 million small businesses in the United States. They represent 99.9% of all firms with paid employees in the United States and are responsible for 65.1% of net new jobs created from 2000 to 2019. And small businesses employ 47.1% of the employees in the private sector in the United States. 62% of U.S. small businesses reported that they need to see consumer spending return to pre-COVID levels by the end of 2020 in order to stay in business. 65% of U.S. small business owners said it would be most helpful to their business to have their regulars return and start making purchases again. And 3/4 of U.S. consumers are currently looking for ways to shop small and support their community. And 96% of consumers who shopped on Small Business Saturday in past years agree that shopping at small, independently owned businesses supports their commitment to making purchases that have a positive social, economic, and environmental impact. And 97% of consumers who shopped on Small Business Saturday agree that small businesses are essential to their community. And 95% of consumers who shopped on Small Business Saturday in past years reported the day makes them want to shop or eat at small, independently owned businesses all year long, not just during the holiday season. And the City of Rock Springs supports its local businesses that create jobs, boost local economy, and preserve our community. And advocacy groups, as well as public and private organizations across the country, have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Timothy A. Como, Mayor of the City of Rock Springs, do hereby declare on November 28th, 2020 to be Small Business Saturday in the City of Rock Springs, and urge all of our residents in our community and communities across the country to support small businesses and merchants on Small Business Saturday throughout the entire year. Now, this is interesting because Trina, is Trina here? Come on down. Would you like to say a few things? Trina has drugged me all over town. We have, honestly, I get out a lot. I like to get downtown and see new businesses, and I can honestly say that there are businesses downtown that I didn't even know existed, and just neat businesses that offer great items. The holiday season's coming up, but it doesn't just need to be the holiday season. With the COVID issues that we're facing right now, these businesses need our local help. Please, if you get a chance, take some time to visit our downtown, our city as a whole, and shop local wherever you possibly can. It's a responsibility of everyone to do what we can to make sure that these folks stay in business and maintain their employed professionals, and they just have neat stuff. Go have lunch, visit the shops, partake of what everybody has to offer, and I think you'll be amazed. And Trina, I don't know if you want to add anything to what we're doing with the challenge.
I wouldn't mind giving everybody some ideas on what we're planning for this holiday season. We're quite excited about it. The mayor mentioned about me dragging him from store to store with a photographer, and there was a good reason for that. It was to promote our upcoming new holiday campaign called 5 on Main, the Mayor's Challenge, 5 on Main. And what we're hoping to see is that locals and visitors will visit at least 5 local businesses in the downtown area while they are shopping for their loved ones this holiday season. So that's the mayor's challenge, is to visit 5 local businesses in the downtown area and give them the support they need. They definitely need it now more than ever, especially during these strange times. And I have to say, I've been very impressed with the positive attitudes I've seen throughout the downtown area, as far as them, trying to, make adjustments and making it happen and to stay successful. And it really brings a big smile on my face when, they've got that enthusiasm going and they haven't quite lost hope. And that's the main thing, is you can't lose hope. No matter how tough it is and how challenging it is, you've got to stay hopeful. So we're hoping everybody will be on board with the Mayor's Challenge. You'll be seeing pictures of them posted on our social media pages, Downtown Rock Springs, and the Downtown Rock Springs Instagram page as well. And we also have coming up our second annual Plaid Friday. And that's the day before Small Business Saturday. It's our version of Black Friday, except our goal is to encourage locals and visitors to shop local and to give those small businesses the support that they still need during these trying times. And I'm hoping to see locals and visitors and business merchants, their employees dress up in plaid on November 27th, the day before Small Business Saturday. Maybe decorate their windows in plaid, just as Paint the Town Pink did with the pink windows. We're hoping to see that as well. And we're going to be passing out 100 bags to the first 100 lucky shoppers on November 27th at Escape Day Spa at 9 a.m. So ladies, mark that on your calendar. We're going to have some goodies in these plaid bags, and Escape Day Spa will be hosting that starting point, to encourage everybody to keep shopping local. And thank you very much, Mayor, and everybody else.
Thank you, and I'm just going to add, I'd be happy to help you on the plaid thing, but I don't think I look good in plaid, and I'm thinking maybe I'd rather
Wear a
not.
plaid necktie.
Let's get a picture with your proclamation.
And I would also like to invite Evelyn in this photo, since she works. I thought it would only be a
Come on.
stand in as well.
We'll just do number 2. Congratulations. Appreciate it. Thank you.
She makes you laugh. Because she just laughs. She just laughs.
Okay, the next proclamation we have is National Apprenticeship Week, November 8th through the 14th, 2020. And our proclamation reads, whereas National Apprenticeship Week is celebrating its 6th anniversary of raising awareness of the vital role apprenticeships provide in creating a qualified and highly skilled workforce in diverse industries in Rock Springs, Wyoming, and across the nation. And the advancement and well-being of the United States of America depends upon the continued development of skilled workers in their chosen fields. And an ever-growing number of job creators and career seekers are discovering the benefits of apprenticeships' unique learn while you earn model, and Rock Springs recognizes that robust apprenticeships programs provide tangible value to both job creators and apprentices, with the potential to increase productivity, improve diversity and inclusion, and reduce recruitment and training costs while providing a pathway to a prosperous careers for job seekers. And so now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Timothy A. Como, Mayor of the City of Rock Springs, do hereby declare the week of November 8th through the 14th, 2020 to be National Apprenticeship Week in the City of Rock Springs, and I urge the community to help raise awareness of the importance of apprenticeships in order to create a skilled and qualified workforce in Rock Springs, and to visit the Rock Springs Workforce Center for more information about apprenticeships. And is Greg here, Maddox? Greg, come on, do you want to say a few words? Greg with the, Maddox with the Workforce Center.
Well, to say the least, this year's been really challenging at our office, helping people look for work, file for unemployment, and this is another program to help us become a work-ready community. So we just look forward to more cooperation and help from the local businesses to help people.
It's been quite the year, but we sure appreciate the efforts that you put in, and what a valued program.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have a proclamation for you. If I issue one more proclamation with this mask on, I'm going to pass out.
Rob can take over.
Okay, councilors, this is going to bring us to the petition section of our agenda. I would ask if there's anyone here tonight wishing to address the city council on any issue, this is your time to do so. Anyone? Come on down, if you would, to the microphone, state your name, and let us know what you're here for.
Good evening. Is this on? Okay. Hello. My name is Delaney Wells. I am the CPS, or the prevention specialist for Sweetwater County Prevention Coalition.
And I'm Shelby Gordon, CPS for the Sweetwater County Prevention Coalition. And today we just wanted to, we know that it's the third reading tonight of the Tobacco 21 policy that's going to be, or that has been presented to the City Council. And so we just wanted to provide some information about tobacco in rural populations.
Yeah, so we recently were approached with a piece of reading material that had a lot of information about tobacco use in rural America and how also it ties in with use within youth as well. So we wanted to, or we jotted down some of those just to be able to read to you today. One thing that struck my eye was that the national data shows that 80% of youth who have ever used a tobacco product started with a flavored tobacco.
And also, so in Wyoming, we're a rural population, and so we have substantially higher amounts of tobacco use than urban populations. It's like a 30% increase just in rural populations because tobacco retailers focus on rural populations because they know that they're more apt to buy their tobacco products. They focus on, tobacco industry spent $213 million on advertising in 2018 alone, and most of that advertising is geared towards rural populations. And in Wyoming specifically, this year, the current e-cigarette users by age group, the 18 to 24-year-old age group, is 30% higher than the national average of e-cigarette users. And so by implementing the Tobacco 21 policy would help with that. But yeah, so we just wanted to give some information about that because it's really important. Current smoking prevalence for rural adolescents was 7.3% compared to urban counterparts. And so we're really targeted and really at a disadvantage because the tobacco industry does target our population for their products. And in the CDC, it shows that rural residents, we show higher mortality rates for cancer, stroke, heart disease, chronic lower respiratory disease. That are 4 leading cause of death for tobacco use. And just some, my apologies, but a systematic review.
It's those masks.
I know.
It's the mask.
It is, I know, it blocks my brain. I was projecting my thoughts to you and they all came back to me. A recent study of the Center for Disease Control, wrong one. See, come on. Systematic review by the University of Wisconsin Public Population Health Institute. County health rankings and roadmaps found models suggesting that an increase in the minimum legal purchasing age from 18 to 21 would decrease smoking prevalence by 12%. And that's really good. And do you want to do that one? In our county. I'll keep talking. I'm pretty long-winded. I better give somebody else a chance. Where?
Delaney's looking at it like.
I know, I was like,
19.
Okay, so 19.84% of Sweetwater County students surveyed that they have smoked at least once. That's 20, and then 24.06% of students surveyed that they have at least vaped once in the last 30 days. And these statistics are actually taken from grades 8, 10, and 12, right? 8, 10, and 12.
6, 8, 10, 12.
Yeah. So this is our prime youth population. And another thing that's actually pretty shocking is that the media or the big tobacco companies use media to their advantage, and that's everything from putting things on the shelves to a certain level where youth can see it, right away, and that's also regulated within. So cigarettes are actually supposed to be sold in packs of 20, but are not regulated in cigarillos and cigars, and that also appeals to youth because they're sold at a cheaper rate. So youth are more likely to buy cigars or cigarillos, and those also tend to be the flavored products that they can get their hands on. So that's also pretty shocking to know that our big tobacco companies are specifically targeting youth, and it's easier here in Wyoming and rural populations to have them start young because they advertise in here it would be like the cowboy up, the cowboy tough mentality, but here they want to market towards manly and rugged, and you know, all these cool people are smoking cigarettes, so maybe it's your turn too.
Like the old Marlboro man.
Right, and the
image.
Camel Joe, yeah.
So cool.
So, we're just here to express our concern, and that's all.
Well, Delaney, Shelby, I appreciate the information, and it's interesting that you came down today. My daughter just graduated as a CRNA and graduates in December. And each one of the graduates had to select a topic, a thesis of an issue that they dealt with and was near and dear to their hearts, and then it was to be submitted to a medical journal. And the topic that she selected was e-cigarettes. And I read through that entire thing last night, and I didn't realize, but the e-cigarettes alone are bad enough, but what really causes a lot of more of the problem is the flavorings that they put into the cigarettes. And just young individuals that are ending up with popcorn lung and just in bad shape at a very early age. So we appreciate that. You guys did a great job, and we appreciate the information, and I think that helps the council make a good decision as we move forward here.
I guess a couple comments. When you're
Go
looking
ahead.
at the statistics you gave, like 24% of kids, what was it, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade or something like that?
Yeah.
I would bet that number is actually higher. Would be my,
Could be.
just from what I know from my kids and what they see in school and everything else, at 24%. When you said 24, I was like, no, that can't be right. That's got to be.
When I apologize.
No, that's okay. And so, you know, when we see that and we see so many kids using these products, we already have a law that said 18. And I'm not arguing against this for 21, but we already have a law that says no one under 18. But these kids are still getting the product and using it. So what good will raising the law to 21 be? I mean, I'm not speaking against the ordinance in any way, but it's just a question that always comes that I think of. I don't know if there's an answer to it, but what good is that going to do if we're still getting kids involved in the consumption of tobacco products?
I think for me, the reality would be that when you're 18, there's still a chance you're in high school. I was 18 my whole senior year, and so I could buy cigarettes my whole senior year. And when you are in school with peers, and you're like, hey, that girl's 18, can they buy me cigarettes? But if they're 21, you're not going to be with a peer that's in school, in high school, that could actually go buy cigarettes, e-cigarettes for you. So I don't know if that would be a full contributing factor. That's just something that popped into my head, that their peers genuinely couldn't go to the store and buy them e-cigarettes.
And I think that a lot of people also kind of view it as like the cusp of adulthood, like, yeah, you're just entering adulthood. 21 allows for more development, but also other national laws like legal drinking age is consistent. So.
Well, and that's exactly what our ordinance is trying to keep consistency with the federal and state laws so we can enforce it the same. But great job. Appreciate the information.
And we did want to add that we will be receiving some more up-to-date information on suicide. So we'd be happy to come back and update
Please do.
the panel on our suicide statistics for Rock Springs.
Yes, when you're ready, just contact Kristen and she will get you on our agenda.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies. Still under petitions, anybody wishing to address the council on any issue? This is your time. Hearing none, I'm going to close the petition section. We're going to move on to the council committee and board reports. Councilors, I have item number 1, the Joint Powers Combined Communication Board meeting minutes of July 27th and August 24th and September 28th, 2020. And item 2, the Joint Powers Telecom Board meeting minutes of September 17th, 2020. I'd entertain a motion to approve the council committee and board reports and place on file.
So move, Your Honor.
We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item is the correspondence. We have 2 items, councilors. Unless you have any questions of the correspondence, I'd entertain a motion to approve the correspondence and place the correspondence on file.
So moved, Your Honor.
Thank you. We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second has been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? It's going to bring us to the bills and claims section of our agenda. Councilors, item number 1, the bills and claims for November 3rd, 2020.
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus,
I make a motion to approve the bills and claims for November 3rd, 2020.
Councilors, we do have a motion to approve the bills and claims for November 3rd, 2020. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 2, the salaries for October 22nd, 2020.
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus.
I make a motion to approve the salaries for October 22nd, 2020.
Councilors, we do have a motion to approve the salaries for October 22nd, 2020. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Going to bring us to the new business items on our agenda. Item number 1 is the request from the police department for permission to fill a vacant records tech 1 position. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your
Yeah.
Honor,
Councilman Demus?
I make a motion to honor this request.
Councilors, we have a motion to honor this request from the police department. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item number 2, the request from the Sweetwater County Republican Party for permission to bury 2020, of which I agree, by burying a time capsule at, not Bunning Park, but what I understand is Veterans Park, soon after December 31st, 2020. And do we have someone here that wishes to explain what we are burying? I could think of she even has it with her.
I have it.
Sounds like a really good idea, but I don't think that box is big enough.
Well, we've got another option, kind of. I'm Tamara Kendrick. I'm here representing the Republican Fundraising Committee. That's what I do, help with the GOP group is fundraising. But back in May, I was so over 2020 that I decided that maybe we should bury it. And I didn't want to bury it before December 31st because there's still a lot of time left.
We'd be running around catching those stragglers, trying to get them in the box.
Yeah. So I presented it to the Republican Party as an idea. They liked it. I decided to go forward with it. This time capsule has been made out of aluminum and donated to us by my son-in-law, Jake Manico, with Jake's Welds by Jake. And we decided we'll put some toilet paper in there, the back quarter, a mask, articles. You can write about your business, put it in here, just different things. I talked with Dave Lansing and Mark Lyon, and because of structural reasons and stuff, we wouldn't go to Bunning Park, but go to Veterans. They have an empty cement vault that they would put this inside. So we have more product and that would fit in here. We've got that vault as well. And then we'll bury it in Veterans Park. And then maybe get a plaque. Here lies 2020, open with caution, put something on it to mark it.
Yeah, very much so.
And then we will close this and seal it in front of whoever wants to watch on December 31st.
Put Jumanji on it.
We're going to have a Jumanji party at the Park Hotel. Chris and the Wyoming Raised. We're going to do Jumanji party, seal it at midnight, and bury it as soon as we can bury it, depending when the city can get to burying it.
I think that's a great idea. I like it. And my only concern when this came up, and it sounds like you have, is that you coordinated with Mr. Lansing and Mr. Lyon.
Yes.
Sounds like you've done that. And councilors, do you have any other?
I'd just like a promise that we never open the
Don't
thing.
open it.
Somebody said your grandkids should open it, and I said, I don't know if I want to do that to them. But we are discussing if it would be opened 30, 50 years. I don't know if I want to be alive when it's opened or gone, but
exactly.
it could be a whole new portal to hell if we open it back up. But we would like to just kind of get over fun way to get out of 2020. So
The best part of 2020 so far was Halloween. It was a great day, but we need more better times, and we don't have them, so I would just like to bury it and get it over with.
Yeah.
So, if it's okay with you guys, I would like to proceed with it.
I have no opposition to burying 2020 counselors, and therefore I would entertain a motion to approve this request.
So moved.
A quick so moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Everybody wants to die.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Bury it.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry I didn't recognize Mr. Eric Bingham is with us here, city planner and SEDC, and now that the meeting is almost to its end, I see you sitting out in the crowded seats. Nice to have you with us. And your lovely wife.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'd never forget the wife.
That's right.
Okay. Nice to have you here with us. And the next item on our request under new business is the request from Encore Cinemas Incorporated for 6 malt beverage permits for the Wyoming Cowboys football games on November 5th, 14th, 19th, and 27th, and December 5th and 12th, 2020, with varying times at the Star Stadium Movie Theater at 2441 Foothill Boulevard, Suite 7. Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Tate, was it? Shalata?
I'll make a motion to approve this request.
We do have a motion to honor this request. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's going to bring us on to the resolution section of our agenda, councilors, and item number 1 from the Housing Authority, Resolution 2020-160.
A resolution authorizing Timothy A. Como, acting in his capacity as chairman of the board for the Rock Springs Housing Authority, to accept additional capital funding for the federal fiscal year 2020 in the amount of $1,598, and authorizing the supervisor of housing and community resources to accept additional capital funding.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Savage.
I move to approve Resolution 2020-160.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2020-160. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Demas,
Yes.
Tate,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 2, also from the Housing Authority, Resolution 2020-161.
A resolution authorizing Timothy A. Como, acting in his capacity as chairman of the board for the Rock Springs Housing Authority, to execute a proposal for the renewal of commercial liability and commercial property insurance coverage provided by the HAI Group for the Rock Springs Housing and Community Development Agency.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Savage.
I move to approve Resolution 2020-161.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2020-161. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Tate,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Demas,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 3, Resolution 2020-162.
A resolution supporting submission of application to the Wyoming Business Council under the Business Ready Community Grant and Loan Program for a community readiness project on behalf of the governing body of the Southwest Wyoming Regional Airport.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Shalata.
move to approve Resolution 2020-162.
Councilors, we have a motion to approve Resolution 2020-162. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Shalata,
Yes.
Savage,
It's a great project, but horrible timing. No.
Zadi,
Yes.
Demas,
Yes.
Tate,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. And to go along with that, item number 4, Resolution 2020-163.
A resolution authorizing and directing Timothy A. Como as mayor of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the city of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to accept and approve a budget revision to the budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2020-163.
Councilors, we do have a motion to approve Resolution 2020-163. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Savage,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Tate,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. And item number 5, Resolution 2020-164.
A resolution accepting and approving Amendment Number 1 to the Transportation Alternatives Program Subrecipient Agreement between the Wyoming Department of Transportation and the City of Rock Springs, authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor of the City of Rock Springs, Wyoming, to execute said Amendment Number 1 on behalf of the city.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Shalata.
move to approve 2020-164.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2020-164. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Zadi,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Tate,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Give me just 1 minute. Okay. Item number 6, Resolution 2020-165.
A resolution authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor of the City of Rock Springs and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the City of Rock Springs to execute an agreement for disbursement, receipt, and use of grant funds with the Sweetwater County Joint Travel and Tourism Board.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2020-165.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2020-165. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Demus,
Yes.
Tate,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. Item number 7, Resolution 2020-166.
A resolution accepting and approving a master service agreement between the City of Rock Springs and GovQA LLC to provide software for the city for the purpose of processing Freedom of Information Act and records requests, and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk to execute said agreement on behalf of the City of Rock Springs.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilwoman Demus.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2020-166.
We do have a motion to approve Resolution 2020-166. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Counselor Tate,
Yes.
Shalata,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Zadi,
Yes.
Demus,
Yes.
Mayor Como.
Yes. And item number 8, Resolution 2020-167.
A resolution accepting and approving a guaranteed maximum price amendment to the standard form of agreement between owner and construction manager as constructor with Hogan and Associates Construction, Inc., and authorizing Timothy A. Como as mayor of the City of Rock Springs and Matthew L. McBurnett as city clerk of the City of Rock Springs to accept said amendment on behalf of the City of Rock Springs.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor, I do have a question on this still, because I'd asked prior to the meeting about the windows, because there was an issue with the windows and trying to move those from phase 1 to phase 2. And in this, it does state on the project GMP summary that all exterior windows will be installed at a later date. And then on the last page, this is where I was, let's see. On the architectural, it still shows in there wood windows, window schedule and details, window details. And so it seems like we're committing to that now, but we don't know that we'll be able to move that to phase 2 yet. I just don't want to get tied into something when we don't know really where we're going to end up. And we're still trying to
Your
get
Honor.
those.
Mr. Kausic.
That is just a list of all of the plans that were bid. That's not committing us to the windows. That's just a list of all of the detail sheets that were part of the bid package.
That's part of that, the gross maximum price?
No, it's
so
not part,
not?
it's not part of the actual cost. As part of the guaranteed maximum price, they had to provide a list of all of the plans that they accepted.
Okay.
The details and everything else, and so that's what that is. That's just a list of all of the details of the bid plans.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it's part of the GMP.
I see what's the confusion is, the list that we had with all the items on it before to get to the GMP through the, negotiations that we had actually had each item in there where it said, deleted. Yeah, those are the actual, bid plans.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure
Yeah, we're not committing to the windows at this time.
okay. And then another just question on an update. Have we heard anything from our realtors about potential occupant? I think the deadline we were looking at there was December, or we're hoping for to find somebody by December. Do we know? I guess it's for the match.
Had some discussion here just this morning, and some of this you could understand. I can't give too much information, but we probably could talk about it in an executive session just because of in regards to real estate. But I did speak with the broker, and they do have an interested in party. Now, keep in mind what's critical about having an interested party, and as you well know, going into the phase 2 grant process, it increases our chances of success by having a letter of commitment from an anchor tenant. But I can tell you, as of this morning, there is an interested tenant, and he called to see if there's a possibility of getting, trying to wait basically for the contractor to get underway to provide some lighting so they could come up and tour the facility without having to go through with a flashlight and stuff like that. So they'll be getting a hold of you, Mr. Councich, I'm sure. But yes, there is some positive movement in that area.
And that's, I was just curious. I know we can't get a lot of detail, but are we at least making progress into that?
Yeah.
Because that was an important deadline to meet for the next grant step.
Correct. And I think what's really been, not to call anybody lazy by any means, but people don't like to walk. And it's one of the issues that the broker seems to consistently find for tenants in the building is, where can I park? We have these 2 great parking lots on either side of the block, and it is maybe a block's walk from either to get to the middle of the block, to say a restaurant or whatever it may be. I just think we have ample parking down there in areas that are usually vacant most of the time, but that question seems to come up quite often. So we're looking at some options there. But yes, we're making some headway. I thought that was exciting news this morning, and hopefully here in the recent meetings, those individuals are going to be attending a council meeting and giving us an update, maybe bring some more information.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Councilman Savage?
Thank you. It's interesting because people don't mind walking across a really long parking lot, but they don't like walking down the street. I don't know what you can tell us, but what can you tell us about the issue with the windows? What's going on there, Paul?
Well, when we got the guaranteed maximum price, it exceeded the amount of funding that we had available between the grant and the city's match. So we went back and looked at the overall project and tried to look at stuff that we could maybe defer to either phase 2 or or possibly go back and request additional funding from the Wyoming Business Council. And that was something that the mayor, myself, the architect, and the contractor determined that was something that we could defer or possibly do at a later date. And so we pulled that out to get the price down back to a reasonable level that we felt we could come up with the funding for.
Which also, to add, the conversation come up, not only were the windows $430,000-ish, there was a concern of having brand new windows in a building that we were under construction with, and it didn't make sense at that time. So the prices were driven up based on what we found with the geotech investigation. The soils, and now let me get this right, the soils have a acidic, and the lower the number, the more acidic, and the number goes from 1 to 2,000, and we were at a 100.
I can't remember the exact number.
So not only were the micropiles, which weren't a part of the grant consideration, we unexpected huge expense there, but then the engineer and the contractor recommended that the rebar be upsized diameter-wise, and they be epoxy coated just because of the acidic environment that they would sit in. That they just couldn't guarantee the structural integrity. Now, keep in mind, back in the day, most of those buildings didn't have rebar in them anyway, and that's probably why you didn't have the corrosion that you see. But the soils are bad enough that we did lose the northeast corner of the building subsided and kind of dropped a little bit. That's the issue with the additional expense with the micropile installation.
And that has to go down like, was it 30 or 40 feet to get bedrock?
Correct. So they found micropiles have to be dug down around 30 feet, and oversized rebar with epoxy coating, and they would then do their job. But when you take a look at that amount of work and material, of course you can imagine the costs came up. So that's where we are at that. But this gets us to where we are at with our money that we have. Any other questions? I think I'd entertain a motion.
Your Honor,
Councilman Shalata.
I would move to approve Resolution 2021-67.
We have a motion to approve Resolution 2020-167. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Councilor Shalata?
Yes.
Savage?
No.
Zadi?
Yes.
Demus?
Yes.
Tate?
Yes.
Mayor Como?
Yes. Okay, councilors, this is going to take us to our ordinance section, of which we have one ordinance on third reading, ordinance 2020-09.
An ordinance amending Article 3.2 of the ordinances of the City of Rock Springs entitled Offenses Concerning Public Morals and Decencies to amend age restrictions from 18 to 21 years of age for the possession, gift, sale, and use of tobacco to be consistent with federal and state law.
Councilors, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor,
Councilman Savage?
I move to approve ordinance 2020-09.
We do have a motion to approve ordinance 2020-09. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second's been called. Roll call.
Councilor Savage?
Yes.
Zadi?
Yes.
Demus?
Yes.
Tate?
Yes.
Shalata?
Yes.
Mayor Como?
Yes. Now, councilors, before we adjourn and everybody at home or in the audience, just a quick reminder to be responsible and wear a mask when you can't maintain a physical distance Try to maintain your physical distance, wash your hands, the same thing we've been hearing time and time again. The numbers that we're seeing in our community alone, 14% of those individuals that are testing right now are positives. We have heard from both sides. I had several calls today asking if we were going to enforce a mask mandate. We have not had that discussion yet. We've been taking our guidance from the state health officer, the governor's office, and working with county health. But all in all, it's my feeling, and I believe I mentioned this before, it's best to have less government in your lives. We're adults, we're responsible people. I know that there are mask Nazis, and there are those people out there that think it's just a sham. I'm just saying it's a small price to pay to get us back to the norm. I'm saying that if in fact that the science does show that it protects other people, then I think it's responsible to wear a mask. Even with a mask mandate, it's in a sense the honor system, similar to we discussed a stop sign. You're supposed to stop, but you don't. You may not get arrested. Eventually you might get a citation, but the enforcement would be a nightmare. I'm just saying be responsible. The choice is ours in how we defeat this pandemic, and I think it's a small price to pay. So be careful. If you're sick, obviously, don't go to work. Don't go and socialize. From what I'm hearing from county health in Sweetwater County, we have several hospitalized, one on a ventilator, and most of these positives are coming from not large gatherings because we have so few, but smaller groups that have been socializing with people they are not familiar with and find out there's a positive. Once there's a positive, then you go back to work. That affects your co-workers, in the sense of the city, or its public services, it's your family members, the whole 9 yards. So be responsible, and by all means, if you can't maintain the social or physical distancing, throw a mask on and do what's right. And with no further business to come before the city council, this meeting is adjourned.